What's going on, guys? So really quick before we get into the video, I just wanted to shoot a quick intro, because when I shot this video I went to the range that morning and I wasn't expecting to shoot a video to like upload or anything. I was just trying to play with the camera, get some footage, and to get some pictures and stuff. So I wasn't expecting to do anything. So with that said, I didn't explain really much, you know the best way I could. So really quick, this, obviously if this doesn't make sense right away as you watch this video, it'll all come together, I promise. So really quick, in this video I'm shooting a target that's 35 yards away. I don't think I specify that. Oh, and I'm using this method. I do kind of say it, but I'm using this method to shoot those awkward range, just like those awkward distance shots. You know what I mean? Like, so I have a 5-pin set up. So I have a 20 yard, a 30 yard, a 40 yard, a 50 yard, and a 60-yard pin, right? So with that shot being 35, that means I have to kind of shoot in between pins. So I'm using this messenger method to kind of teach my mind to shoot, kind of learn the distance between the pins. So this, I don't know if I mentioned that I also use it to test my rangefinder equipment, like the slope, angle, distance modes on the rangefinders. You can kind of use this method to test that as well, but this is way better to use for training your mind to shoot those in between awkward shots. You know what I mean? So just wanted to say. And also, the messenger arrows that I shoot in the video, all the arrows that I shoot are the same. The only difference between the red and orange fletching arrows, the red nock glowing arrows, and the messenger arrows are the different color nocks. The nocks on the messengers are multicolored, flashing, and the fletchings are different color, and the wraps are different color. The fletchings are a little different, but it's not enough to make it a big difference target shooting wise. Like, I don't have another thing is, on the video, that I do have a very exaggerated range when I show you guys the target. My 30 yard pins, like, pretty low. It was a low shot, but then my 40 yards a little high. When you look at the target, it's like literally like one messenger's on the top and one messenger's on the bottom. And I know it's very exaggerated, but I wanted to make sure I did the video right the first time, so I didn't have to do it again. I wanted to be sure I could put arrows in between the messenger and explain it without having to do it 10 times. So I guess I'm just lazy, so I apologize. But, and one thing is, it's important when you're doing this method, this is not a method to sight in your bow. You should already be sighted in when you're doing this. This is just to train your mind to shoot in between your pins at those awkward distances. You should not be trying to sight your pins in with this method at all. So make sure that's all set. And yeah, it's just really important that your sights are sighted in, because when you shoot your messenger arrows, you really want to make sure those are in place, because those are your spec arrows. You have a high spec and a low spec. You want to make sure you can, if you're training your mind to shoot to stay in that spec in between those pins, you want to make sure your sights are accurate, because you're not gonna get anywhere if your arrows are all over the place, obviously. But anyway, I don't want to hold people up, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm sorry I had to make this quick intro video because I was too lazy to go back and redo the whole video, but I really hope this helps everybody. I'm sure there's similar methods out there. Maybe it's called something different, but it's cool. But let me know if this helps. Let me know if this doesn't help. Let me know if I'm just being out of my mind and I don't know what I'm talking about. But it works for me. I mean, I know it works for me. I'm pretty positive that it will help you. So give it a try. If you're bored one day, if you have a couple extra arrows that are a little, that are different from the ones, your usual ones that you're shooting, if you have a couple extra ones, try it out. But anyway, guys, you all have a good day, and get out there and keep shooting. Alright, let's start getting some arrows. First, y'all know, the messenger arrow is always first. Why do we call it the messenger arrow? You send it to see what it'll do, and you can't expect to get it back. So let's see what we got. And what I like to do is I like to put I like to shoot glow knocks if I can. If I have some that are working, I always shoot glow knocks. So I don't need, I'm not one of those guys that have the binoculars and looking at every shot, and I get the glow knocks. But my messenger arrow always has a different color, so I can see. So what I'll do, I'm going to test it. I'll put my 30-yard pin where I want it to go. Obviously, it's not going to be on because it's not a 30-yard shot. And then I'll hit it with my 40, and then I'll probably be, I'll try to get a middle ground there. Send 2 messengers, and then the real boys will be hopefully in between the 2 messengers, if that makes sense. All right, let's see. My 30 shot really low, and I held that shot way too long. But I am going through some foliage. I'm trying to be a little extra careful because I only have 3 messenger arrows with me, and I know you said you can't expect to get them back, but in my case, I expect to get them back. Bugs, man. Bugs are a joke today. All right. Yeah. All right, so I got 2 glowing dots down there. I got my 30 that went pretty low, and then I got my 40 that went a little high. So now I shoot what I think I need to be shooting, and hopefully those end up in the middle. That's what happened. I'm telling you, I love the messenger arrow idea. Send a few that you don't expect to get back. Send two spec arrows, you can call them. You're gonna go under. You're gonna shoot under spec, then over spec. Then you gotta be in between. Oof, that was way low. Still between the messenger, but it's funny. I'm shooting through foliage. A couple of my arrows have went through leaves, and then so I'm kind of shooting through trees. It's cool though, because like I can see through a gap through the target, and I can see where I want my arrow to go. But if my first messenger, I shot it, it shot low, so it went through that gap, but it ended up below the foliage after it hit the target. So I'm looking through the target, but then I can see a glowing arrow on the bottom. Like, it's funny. It's cool. It's a really big thing you got to take into consideration shooting is your arrow drop. if you're shooting through foliage, you got to make sure, okay, if you're looking at something, like, oh, okay, I can shoot through that. Well, what you're shooting through is that 30 yards, 20 yards away from you, and is that arrow going to sink before you get through that gap? Or, you got to figure that out. That's where I wanted it. All right, got one more. Oh, man. I hope this is a good shot too, because I have a good group down there to explain my messenger arrow method. So I hope this arrow doesn't screw it all up. And it did, of course, but whatever. We're gonna pull it and pretend like it just didn't happen, just for education purposes. And it's not like it looks better on camera or anything, no big deal. I'm gonna show you how it works here. Alright, so these black long vanes / multicolored nocks are my messenger arrows, right? So what I did is I shot one at 30 yards with my 30-yard pin, and then I shot one with my 40-yard pin, a little high, okay? So up there, I can see these multicolors flashing off, right? So I got a high standard and a low standard. So then my regular arrows that I'm practicing with, they have red nocks. So what I did is I put my pin, I used basically in between 30 and 40, and I got a better gauge of where I needed to put my pin for my arrows. And that, so if you see, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, I don't know if you can see the multicolors flashing. I got one here and one here, and then everything in between. And that's how it should look. That's how you know you're doing something right. I mean,